Hello, I'm Peggy Dean, Executive Director of the Jean Houston Foundation, and we've come together tonight to join in a virtual community of like-minded people who seek to build a greater foundation of peace in our world. This call is an invitation to participate in a year-long teleconference that brings together the field of social artistry with the power of circle to equip you with skills and tools you need to co-create the new story so needed in our world. Together we can build teaching-learning communities to bring our world of possibilities into being, creating opportunities for one another, and igniting a culture of peace here and now. What to expect in a Peacemaker Circle? Social artists will find support in their Peacemaker Circle, as well as an outlet for feedback and reflection, collaboration, a place to continue your social artistry and peacemaking work in the world as part of your daily life. Peggy Rubin and Lauren Oliver join us tonight as our presenters on this call. And I want to introduce Peggy Rubin first. Acting roles spanning 50 years and more, Peggy is founding director of the Center for Sacred Theater in Ashland, Oregon, where she creates workshops in living life as sacred theater and sacred studies of the divine feminine. In her passion for human development, Peggy for 25 years has been principal teaching associate of Dr. Jean Houston in her worldwide multicultural work and in her schools of spiritual studies. And Peggy is also a member of the core faculty of the School for Social Artistry training of leaders. There's more. Peggy was the Public Information and Education Director for the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. She's been a bank executive, a teacher of English, a stalker of brain-mind research, a freelance writer, editor, and actor. And she's earned a fine arts degree at the University of Texas. It's been said of excellent theater that you find yourself so caught up in the performance that the world breaks apart and reassembles more beautiful than before. Those of us who have experienced Peggy's work would exclaim, "My world broke apart and reassembled, more beautiful than ever before." Peggy has brought that magic to her book, To Be and How to Be, and tonight she brings that magic to us. And then there's Lauren Oliver. It's my pleasure to introduce her as well, of CircleWorks. Lauren has put great time and energy into the production of this Peacemaker Circle project, collaborating with me and with Jean Houston and the Jean Houston Foundation to make this event possible. Lauren is a clinical psychologist. She's worked primarily in industry, and as manager of training and organizational development at Toyota, she encouraged teamwork and the opportunity for everyone to give feedback and suggestions, new creative ways to do the work and to make a difference. In her personal life, Lauren convenes circles. She's worked as a member and as a trainer of circles, learning and exploring different models for over 35 years. Lauren believes our society needs to connect with one another in small groups, conscious circles, where we talk about what really matters, where we support one another to become our best selves, and to act to make a difference. Lauren wants circles of peacemakers to connect the existing network of social artists and the many others who will be joining us. Lauren, I turn it over to you.
Thank you, Peggy. Thank you for that lovely introduction, both of myself and of Peggy Rubin. Wow, I feel honored to be in your presence and all the participants here today. So I would like to now center our virtual online circle with a poem by Diane Ackerman. This poem, called School Prayer, was included by Peg Rubin in her chapter on the power of celebration in To Be and How to Be. As Peg rightly names it, it is a pledge. Please join me in taking a couple of deep breaths. And let's feel our breaths begin to flow together. In the name of the daybreak and the eyelids of morning and the wayfaring moon and the night when it departs, I swear I will not dishonor my soul with hatred, but offer myself humbly as a guardian of nature, as a healer of misery, as a messenger of wonder, as an architect of peace. In the name of the sun and its mirrors, and the day that embraces it, and the cloud veils drawn over it, and the uttermost night, and the male and the female, and the plants bursting with seed, and the crowning seasons of the firefly and the apple, I will honor all life, wherever and in whatever form it may dwell, on earth my home, and in the mansions of the stars. Ordinarily, if we were in a face-to-face circle, we would do a check-in at this time after having centered the circle. But today, since we don't have time to ask all of you to check in, we will turn to the next step of doing the work in circle. And we have this wonderful opportunity to have Peggy talk with us today. So we will use our circle time to gather around the campfire and listen to Peg Rubin talk about the power of celebration, one of the 9 powers of theater, powers of circles, and powers of life. Peggy, I now hand it off to you.
Thank you, Lauren. And thank you, Peggy Dean, for that beautiful introduction and the sort of thing that put us on the stage to know what we're doing together and to bless us through your voice in how we do it. So, and thank you both and for that lovely reading of Diane Ackerman's gorgeous poem about life, and that's what we're here to celebrate today. And I know, as Lauren somewhat noted regretfully, that we don't see each other face to face. So the invitation then is to pause a moment before we launch on the wonders of the power of celebration, and just to consider another very great poem by the poet, the Nobel Prize winner, Derek Walcott, who says that the time will come when, and his words are much more beautiful than this, you will look at yourself, your own face, and honor the life that you have. And as I said, he says it better than that, but it's a wonderful understanding of the power of celebrating and appreciation. One of the primary things that Lauren teaches so beautifully is the art of appreciation. And I'm going to be talking about a sort of primary piece that comes in, that the art of appreciation is a part of, or under the umbrella of, I believe, the power to celebrate life. Celebrate life, no matter what. And I know we're in hard times. I know many people are undergoing fearful and fearsome changes and lack of awareness or assurance about the future. And yet we're called here today to feel ourselves celebrants of life itself, and the mystery and the miraculous nature of life, and to sit sort of, as we were saying, centered in yourself, your own being, in your place, wherever that place is in this moment, but to feel it absolutely supporting you and caring for you in a good way, and that you are face to face with yourself. Because that's what I think that life is. It's a great and holy play. And when you are with yourself, you acknowledge that you are the one in charge of this play. You're the playwright, you're the player, you're all of that. And that too is a celebration, that you have a lifetime, a human lifetime. The Buddhists teach us that it is so rare and so precious and so special that it behooves us to celebrate it, no matter what else may be going on. And I like to think of the what I call the powers of sacred theater, and they're the powers that exist in secular theater, but they are also, if you consider them as a real engaging force. That's what I mean by power. It's not just a namby-pamby thing that you think about every once in a while, but it is a primal force moving through your life. And I think that primal force is the energy of life itself, bubbling and bursting, and as Diane Ackerman speaks so beautifully, in all its forms, everywhere, bubbling and bursting. I had the great privilege last year of having what I called a traveling sabbatical. And one of the beautiful things that came to me as I traveled, I was driving across Canada, as a matter of fact, which I had never done by myself before, or at all before. And I was just singing the praises of summertime beauty on the roads and on the byways. This beautiful sort of teaching that I am hoping to live life with and through for the rest of my life is that life itself is a gift of this planet, our Earth, to the whole universe. We don't have any assurance that there's life anywhere else. And I kept seeing it as an offering, that our glorious planet has made the offering of life to the whole universe. And I thought, am I worthy, celebrant of that gift? Do I add to the sweetness and the wild glory of that gift with my breath, with my thoughts, with my wishes, with my circle of friends, with whatever I can do to assist life to celebrate itself in ever more spectacular and thrilling ways? So that's the question. And one of the things that I talk about in my book in which I describe the power of celebration, and that it's really basically the force of life, the life force itself is the power of celebration, in my opinion, as I talk about the things that happen in the course of actually life creating itself, that Gaia's beautiful, or the Earth's beautiful offering to the universe. And at one of the more basic, sweet, and incalculably elegant processes is the way the molecules form and the way life happens at the molecular level. And there are three things that happen, and I think they apply as sweetly to life as they do to our lives, to our individual macro lives, big lives compared to the molecules. But they're part of us, and they're part of how our life works, and they're part, I think, of what we do in the world, and that we want to be aware of as part of our way of celebrating or dancing with the power of celebration. And the three things that happen, according to Malin Hoagland and Bert Dodson, who have a gorgeous book called The Way Life Works, these things happen at the molecular level. One is that they make bonds, new bonds. And if that's not a perfect thing of what happens in the circle, in a community, in a group of people gathered together, is the making of bonds. And the molecules, of course, do it with a wonderful exchange of things and the additions of hormones and enzymes and all of that juice that is life's own blessing and life's own offering. But it is the way life works is at one level to make bonds. And I'm more and more convinced that the way we're going to dance through in an elegant way and celebrate our way into, no matter what comes, no matter what's ahead of us, is to do it in community, to be with one another, to circle ourselves, in other words, with friends, and as Peggy said, like-minded people. And, every once in a while, people who don't think the same way we do at all, it's really useful to listen to them, to hear more. And the more bonds we can make with the people who feel different or who behave differently, the more bonds at some basic level that we are willing to make, I think the richer our lives will be, the more informed our lives will be, and the greater our power to celebrate. And then equally important, and this is really a tricky piece for us, equally important in the way life works at the molecular level is the breaking of bonds. When it's time to let something go, whether we're bonded to chocolate, we can't ever break that bond. But if we're bonded to specific things that are no longer serving us, we need to be able to let those bonds go. And one of the powerful ways to do that is to celebrate the beauty of the bond while we had it, while it served, while we were comfortable with it, and then to acknowledge that it has now been broken, that it has been severed. And I had a beautiful teaching also on my sabbatical, my traveling sabbatical, that I was to spend the rest of my life reviewing every single relationship that I've had, and to draw a tree about that relationship, and to draw its fruits and its flowers and the things that have fallen from it, and its leafing and its autumnal hours and its winters, all of those things, but that I was to have one goal in mind, and that was at the end of the work on that relationship, I would have nothing left but gratitude and praise for the relationship. And so it's been really helpful to me to look at those where the bonds have been broken. I mean, divorced husbands and acrimonious situations with friends, but to deeply acknowledge that while the bond has broken, my gratitude for the bond and my praise for the person or being with whom I held that bond is the primary thing that I will hold until my dying day. So it is important to solemnize the breaking of bonds and to do the work of it, but also, I think, to acknowledge and be aware of it. And then the third big thing that happens at the molecular level, and that is an absolutely enchanting way of thinking about our lives, is the exchange of energy. That life works when things are exchanged or transferred, the energy transfers, and it's perfectly wonderful that in this moment my energy, I hope, is transferring through the sound of the voice on the phone. Somehow that my deep desire that you each receive your own deep desire and feel yourself blessed in the world. So that's a kind of energy, easy transfer. And because I believe such things, I can feel, the presence of others bringing energy back to me. So life depends on an easy transfer, a willing transfer of energy, to send it forth and then to receive it as well. And that's kind of a basic way that life puts itself together at the molecular level, and we live those three big rules as well, those three big methods of life creating itself. So life is the earth's offering to the universe. And she, Gaia, the earth, however you want to think about her, managed to create life. We don't know how exactly, except that some tiny spark got started that enlivened something else and brought something else to a different place, and now it's everywhere. Every corner of the earth is teeming with life. And the immaculacy of that miracle is so moving that I think it deserves a song and sound of great celebration. And so what we want to, I'm going to ask you to think about as you sit in the power of your own being. Think, if you will, of something that you care about that is about yourself. Something that you do or know or are willing, or the bonds you have created. Something that makes you feel deeply happy about your life as it is now, flowing around and through and within you. Something that has made you deeply, deeply happy. And just let life and that happiness permeate every part of you. That particular form, that particular moment, just allowing it to permeate your whole being in a way that makes it possible for you to consider making a bond with life itself again. And the pledge, like the pledge that Diane Ackerman, the great poet, speaks, is all the things she swears she will do and won't do. And all of it is based, I think, in the bubbling power that is present when we decide, I will celebrate. I do celebrate. I am a celebrant of the whole majesty and force that is life. And I am a whole being within that force, that green fuse that moves through everything on this earth. And as I believe the earth made life as an offering to the universe, so I believe we, as individuals, make our offerings through love to the earth itself. And that we commit ourselves to being alive. And that's and to being as conscious of being alive as we possibly can be. So I'm just going to ask you to hold for a few moments with your own sense of aliveness and the times of your greatest happiness and being alive, the ways that you have made bonds with life. And ask for a sense of a hint of what the power of celebration carries. And as Lauren says so sweetly, just take a good breath in and then let it go. And sit in the sense of color and music and all the things that have been created out of the ebullient, wondrous life. Beauty of every kind and color. Gorgeous sound, so that you just surround yourself with beauty in this moment as you feel life celebrating its own way through you. And I want to talk for a moment now about the deepest experience that I have witnessed of this celebration, no matter what, is one that coincidentally is happening. Tomorrow is the last day of a 4-day Sundance that is being held by the people who have been our wonderful teachers in Jean Houston's Mystery School and in social artistry, Loretta and Tom Cook. And Loretta is a Lakota, Oglala Lakota, and so the sun dance is her family tradition. Her husband is a Mohawk, because she was related to all the males of her tribe and couldn't marry any of them because she was too close to them. So she married a wondrous man who is a member of the Mohawk tribe, and he has since become one of the leaders of the Sundance troupe, as she has as well. Loretta has as well. And within that beautiful tradition, the seeking is for vision, and it is in honor of the great female power who saved the Lakota in their hour of greatest need, and that is White Buffalo Calf Woman, who came when they were starving and taught them not only, presented herself eventually as a buffalo so that they would have food, so she gave herself as food in the end, but before that time she taught them the ways of relating to the Great Spirit, relating to each other, and relating to the earth itself. So she taught them the making of bonds and the transfer of energy, and I'm sure that related within that was also the very necessary accompaniment, which is the breaking of bonds. Sometimes the bonds break apart in order to provide a greater energy for something else. Sometimes the bond of life breaks, and so you give up and let go, and trust that somehow what you have done in the past will fulfill the celebration of your life somehow. So that there's a whole mystery and miracle about the way the Lakota people have held the Sundance for many, many, many generations. And it is, as I said, primarily about the seeking of vision in honor of White Buffalo Calf Woman, and to see what is next for the people. And my experience of this particular Sundance, Loretta's ancestral people were willing to share the teachings. They said it was essential to share the deep teachings, the tribal teachings, with people who are not indigenous, with us, in other words. But there's a profound, beautiful ceremony that happens in preparation. Most of the dancers have prepared for a year, but there's a beautiful clearing of the space, making the arena where the dance will be, setting up an arbor of shadow around it, making all the outside preparations, but all of it done in the presence of the mystery and in the presence of the power of celebration. And they have what is the equivalent of a tree of life that stands in the center as a great pole, and the dance is in relationship to that tree that is the representative of the great tree of life. And every year they dance with a particular prayer for the earth engaged. That's what they're doing. Every step they take, every breath they take, every drum beat, every song is a prayer for the earth, a prayer for the people of the earth, including all of us. They pray for all of us. But every step is a prayer. Every thought is a prayer. And there's a good deal of hardship involved for the dancers, as many of you will know from the tradition of it. But it is such an overwhelmingly beautiful, poignant affirmation of life as a celebratory event. And if you know your history, you know the heartbreaking conditions under which the Lakota, and in Tom's case, the Mohawks and all their fellow tribal peoples in the Northeast, well, all the native peoples of this land, you know the heartbreaking stories. You know the things that were done. And yet, every year, for 4 days, just at the summer solstice, this celebration of life takes place. No matter what. And There, it isn't. It's the desire is to commune with the Great Spirit, with the spirit beings, but it is also to affirm again that life is a thing to be celebrated, and that we will continue to make this offering. As I said, that life was, I believe, the earth's offering to the universe, and this is the whole people's offering to life, dedication to life, gratitude for life, song for life. And they work, of course. They dance, of course, in a great circle. And that circle itself, as you know, has its reflections in what is called the great hoop of life. So again, over and over and over again in this dance, in this ceremony, there is the shape of life, the prayers for life, the gratitude for life. And as I'm fond of saying, life takes us this way. It says to us, you're here to dance. You're here to say thank you whenever you can. You're here to affirm that life is worth celebrating. And you're here to move. Don't sit still with it, but move. Move in a circle. Move with people supporting you all around you, knowing you're supported. And knowing that there is a community to assist and to be kind to you and to receive your prayers. And I like to say that the way they say, you may have lots of fears as a dancer. You might not know what you're doing exactly, but you follow the leader. You follow the ones who know. And when this is like life. When you step out of the arbor on the Sundance, you're dancing. And I think that's the way life is for us as human beings. When we step out, well, actually, I think when we come from the spirit world into our mother's wombs, we're dancing. And certainly when we're born, no matter what the circumstances, no matter how difficult, no matter how painful or poignant our lives or childhood or all of it may be, we are dancing. And we are dancing in gratitude and in celebration and surrounded by friends, seen and unseen, and surrounded by beauty. The world offers itself for our conscious loving. Because as I have said several times already, that life is the earth's offering to the universe, and love is life's offering to the world. So ultimately then, the power of celebration rides in on and imbues and is fed by the power of love. The power of love. And within that are the powers to say thank you and offer praise. And as Lauren would say, offer appreciation. So that's about all I know right now. I know it's not as
Thank you, Peggy,
long
for this
as you thought.
heartful introduction. So touching to the power of celebration. I encourage everyone to go to your Sacred Theater website and order Peggy's book, To Be and How to Be, for more of what you've just been hearing. And then go to the Jean Houston Foundation website to learn how to register for this Peacemaker Circle teleconference series. It's only $75 for the year-long Peacemaker Circle teleconference. Then you can come back to hear more from eminent peacemakers. Jean Houston will be speaking on July the 18th, the first official call of the series. And then you, Peg, will be speaking again on August 15th. about the great Peacemaker's response to woman who was feeding the toxic warriors. Each one of these months during the series will be working with different chapters of the Peacemaker manual that Jean and Peggy wrote. Now I'll turn it back to Lauren to begin our experience of a virtual circle.
Well, thank you, Peggy Dean, and thank you, Peggy Rubin, for that very, very moving celebration of life. And oh my gosh, when you call to us in this way, I can feel life teeming as you describe it. I feel so immersed in life and in love and in celebration. Thank you, thank you. So, my friends, we are going to now create breakout circles where you will be able to talk with 3 or 4 other people for 8 minutes. I'm going to invite you to introduce yourselves to one another and discuss and decide a question for Peggy Rubin. You've heard her marvelous talk about, or introduction at least, to Power of Celebration, and I'm sure you have some questions for her. So as a virtual circle in your conversation, you will come up with one question. You'll all have your own questions, but then you need to choose one where you may have a chance to ask that question. So I will ring a bell in a few moments, and when you then you have excuse me, let me start that again. I will ring a bell in a few moments to begin, and I will also ring a bell again when you have 1 minute remaining. Then I'll ring the bell at 8 minutes to bring you back to the main room where you can ask your questions of Peg Rubin. So let me repeat what I'm asking of you to do when you enter your virtual circle. Do 1 round to say your name, where you're from, and a couple of words to describe how you're feeling right now. And then pass the talking stick to the next person to say their name, where they're from, and how they're feeling right now. Then do a second round. 1 brief question I'd like to ask Peggy Rubin is. Then reflect and discuss among you and choose 1 question you as a group may have a chance to ask, and decide who among you will ask it. All right? That's the charge. So are you ready? Let me ring the bell, and you will be in your small groups. Please begin. Hello, all. Welcome back from your virtual circle. Good work. And now I'd like to invite you to step up and ask your questions of Peggy. So what you can do is you can press 1 on your own phone keypad to raise your hand to ask Peg Rubin your circle's question. And when you press 1, then we'll see that your hand is raised and we can call on you. So don't be shy. Please raise your hand. Okay. Erica, you have a question for us. We're going to give you the big mic so you can ask your question.
Well, Peggy, thank you so much, and I hope that I can articulate this quickly, but I just want to preface this by saying that I have been feeling such an enormous shift in my life. And And it's so synchronistic that you're speaking of celebrating, because that's precisely what I've been feeling for some time now. And I really feel like I have put on the robes of love. And so, and the world is changing towards me. I mean, my interplay with the world is a whole new thing. However, something just happened. And it brings to my attention that it won't always be so easy. That the world is, it's a very difficult time on this planet. So I may come to the world with love and good intentions, and honestly, I think I'm ready to actuate and I'm ready to do my part. But what do we do when you dance with a partner that not only doesn't want to dance with you, but would prefer to trip you up and prefer to project and pull you in like a magnet to, I guess, the old paradigm?
Sure.
So does this make sense?
No, of course it does.
Okay.
And it's a wonderful question, and it's a beautiful thing to consider in this time of strange energies and strange changes. And is this partner someone you've known a while?
Not at all. And when I say partner,
yeah, you just mean someone that you encountered.
I just mean metaphorically. Those who we meet in the world.
Yeah. Right. Well, if it's somebody who knows you, then you need to be aware that any change that you display or embody is sometimes going to frighten people who've known you the way they've seen you before. So much of it comes from fear and from the one thing that almost everybody dreads, which is change.
Yes.
So the main thing I would like to suggest, number one, I love your expression of the robes of love. And what I want to ask you to remember, I know you will, but I'm going to ask it anyway, is that the robes go both ways. They demonstrate your love for the world and your love for the beings of the world. They're beautiful colors and they radiate the love, but you wanted to make sure you radiate it within as well, so that there's profound respect and love for yourself.
Yes.
This is a big road. The road of love is one of the most rewarding and the most demanding. And in there is an enormous amount of love for yourself. And I also want to invite you to consider the wonderful archetypal helpers who are the ones of love.
Well, I've been considering Kuan Yin for some time. I'm considering a lot of them. Yeah.
Sure. Well, she is a great one, and she's the one who will reply to the cries of the world, and she's the one whose robes you might want to put on when you're dealing with people in the throes of anguish or sadness or whatever, just because she's the lady of compassion. Mm-hmm. But if you want the lovers, you go for the Sufi ones, is my vote.
Oh, yes.
Or Mary Magdalene or Jesus as lover, as deep, profound lover. So you want to go for those who love you and who assure you of the love of the universe or whatever your belief system is. But they. What you want to do is sew them into your robes so that their presence is with you. There's a beautiful story that told about St. Francis of Assisi. When he made his big change, his father was infuriated with him, and every time he met his father after his shift and became, the one who was to become the saint, after that, his father met him on the streets of Assisi and cursed him in the face, screeching, cursing. And Francis kept with him all the time a friend who whispered blessings in his ear as his father was cursing. So we want to acknowledge that people who don't want us to change, or even strangers, who don't like what have you got to be so happy about, or any of that.
Exactly. Yes.
We want to have the internal blessings continuing at all times, and that gives you the strength, I think, and the endurance to maintain the love as purely as possible. So you want to love yourself, and you want to ask.
Hello?
That makes sense?
Yes, it's good. Thank you so much.
Thank you for a wonderful question.
Thank you.
Just a terrific question, Erica. And hey, let's have some other questions. Anyone at any time, you can press 1 on your phone keypad and ask a question of Peg Rubin. If somehow the time you had in your virtual circle wasn't enough to settle on a question as a group, please feel free to ask your own question, and I'll just apologize again for you being able to hear our voices from the green room. And we are learning this technology, so we'll get better. Please press 1 on your telephone pad to raise your hand, and we'll call on you to ask a question. It's not every day we get to be with Peg Rubin and inquire of her another element of her wisdom. I know, Peg, when you were talking about St. Francis, keeping a friend with him so that he could get that support to sustain himself in the face of his father's curses. That's such a powerful image, and it makes me think of, one of the exercises that we do in social artistry, where we gather around, 3 or 4 of us will gather around one person, usually 2 or 3 of us will gather around one person, and whisper in their ears, speak in their ears, the appreciations and joys we have for them. After we've actually heard from them, what are some of those areas where you feel the need for greater confidence, greater self-love, greater self-appreciation, and self-gratitude. And it's such a powerful exercise that you've taught us in that one. And in my experience in Circle, this is one of the great blessings that comes from Circle, because so often, like every one of us, I have my ups and downs, and even when I'm working on a project like this that I'm so excited about and feel so grateful to be able to be doing a project that is so near and dear to my heart and my life mission, I still hit those low points and I hit those obstacles, and I need my brain trust in my Circle to listen to me, to give me their thoughts about ways I might address the obstacles, and also just to really love me, to remind me of my gifts and my talents and who I am, so that I have the strength to go forward and deal with whatever curses the world may throw at me. That's a wonderful image. Thank you.
I do so deeply appreciate, Lauren, your whole commitment to the Circle process and your great wisdom about it. I think that is such a powerful thing, and your devotion to it as a means of bringing greater understanding and greater peace in the world is such a beautiful thing. So I'm wildly appreciative of you and the work you're doing.
Well, thank you so much, Peg. And I see that Carol Zickel has a question for you.
Yes.
So, Carol, we're going to give you the mic. Please.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, Carol. How nice to hear your voice.
Yes, this is great. Actually, all sorts of questions are bubbling up for comments, but maybe you could deepen some of this for in terms of the idea, the reality, and celebration. Just this weekend, we had the sudden passing of a person in our larger family, and not that old, and when you gave the three parts, so I've been thinking of her, I've been thinking of so many things, and when with what you've just said, I've just been thinking of a life in this way, and given how you said it, I can feel the continuing life. I can feel the life within the life, so the bond, but the breaking of the bond, but the energy transfer. So it seems to be not just a model, not just words, but a living reality of our reality and of what we think of as life and death, but is life and life. And so I'm grateful for that, and maybe you have a few other comments on that.
First, Carol, I'm really sorry. Because a sudden loss, a sudden death is so fearful and profound a shift, a breaking of the bond. I mean, the bond with life as we know it. And so first of all, I'd just like to say I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
And I also, because it would be a member of your circle, your close circle, just know what a rich and powerful life was there, and to see it as one long dance of celebration. I had a wonderful sort of experience a few days ago about wanting everyone to have the experience of all my happy days. And so it's a great question when somebody's died suddenly. What was her happiest day? And to talk about it in those terms. Where did we see her so happy? And where did she transfer energy to me, for example? What did she do? Did she send me a note? Did she write me a letter? Did she hold my hand in a particular way? Did she hug me? Or did she feed me coffee? Or, all of those things that are transfers of energy. And when we think about it as life feeding, then we realize how profoundly we have fed the famous tree of life by our actions, by our transfers of energy. And when we are aware that in this smile, my desire is to transfer the truth of myself to you and my concern and love for you as truly as I can. And not to smile if I can't feel that. To really be aware of those things, that I want to strengthen this bond by transferring this energy. And if this is a bond that needs to at least relax or, pull away from, then I want to make sure that the full energy of it has been given. Everything I could give into this relationship has been given, and now it's time that it transforms, because that's what happens. When the bond breaks, it transforms into something else. So in this breaking of the bonds of what life is to those of us who are living it, this woman being has transferred energy and has broken this bond and is transformed now into something else that we may not know or may never know. And it's wonderful to have the faith to believe that. But it's also important to know that even now, even though she's gone, you can transfer energy to her by saying thank you.
Nice.
And seeing her life in beauty and dancing celebration. That's about the best I know on that, sweetie.
No, that's wonderful. Right. Wonderful.
Marvelous. Oh, thank you, Peggy. That's just beautiful. And great question, Carol. And a very moving moment. Thank you. So I I'm going to invite everyone to shift gears a little bit. We're going to start the appreciation process. Each call in our Peacemaker Circles series will include time before we close to express appreciations. We do follow the philosophy, often stated by Jean Houston, what you appreciate appreciates. And of course, that has been the theme that Peggy has been talking with us about today, celebration. Tonight, I'm going to give you all a difficult job. You have to appreciate you in public, and we will witness and support you, your courage, and your truths. So let me ask Peggy Dean now to model for us and share a self-appreciation. And as soon as she does that, we will go back, we'll put you again into virtual circles, breakout circles, for a round in which each person will give yourself a self-appreciation. And then finally, we'll open up the floor so that a few people who we will welcome to share their own self-appreciations. So steel yourself now to be one of the brave few who will raise your hand when you get back to the big group to share a self-appreciation. But Peggy, let me please turn to you, Peggy Dean, and thank you for offering a model of what so many of us find so difficult. Peggy, we would love to hear one of the ways in which you appreciate yourself.
Thank you, Lauren. I appreciate my deep trust in the force that's life, trust in the goodwill of other people, and my persistence in seeking the best in everyone and everything, no matter what the appearances are, and my joy just because I'm alive.
Thank you, Peggy. And I loved it that you didn't mince words, you didn't pull any punches, you just really honored yourself and your strengths that we so depend on, having you in the role of executive director of the Jean Houston Foundation and just our friend and co-social artist. Thank you so much, Peggy. I feel joy recognizing your gift and your greatness as named by you. Now, my friends, I'm going to invite you to enter again into a virtual circle. You will have only 5 minutes this time in the virtual circle. So please say your name, just so everyone again will know who you are, where you're from, and then bravely give yourself an unstinting self-appreciation, naming what you feel grateful for about yourself. I'll just mention I do have a secret to share on the next call with Peggy Rubin in August about why this is so very difficult for many people. But for now, I challenge you to appreciate yourself genuinely, and I invite you to notice, how does this feel in your body when you give yourself an appreciation? So I'll ring the bell in just a moment to start, and again, you'll hear the bell when you have 1 minute left, and the bell once more to return to the main room. Have fun. Okay, hello, my friends. One thing I didn't say before, and I'll say it now, and Yarrow reminded me, which was, if you have a problem at any point, you can push 4 on your telephone keypad and let us know you have a problem, and we'll tune in to you. But now I want to ask you each to raise your hands, and then we'll call on you so you can do a self-appreciation. And while Peggy Rubin and Peggy Dean and I were in the green room with one another while you were in your own breakout rooms, Peggy said, we really need to get everyone to do a self-appreciation. So that's the charge. Let me see those hands come up. I could just start calling on you, but why don't you raise your hand? Oh, here's one. Erica's ready. All right, Erica.
Great. I can't believe I'm the first one. My gosh.
And we now have 4 or 5. This is good. Yay.
Okay.
You're just leading the pack.
Oh, wow. I feel there's a lot of energy generating here tonight with all this. I want to start by saying, as I spoke, there was a feeling in my chest that was pounding like, are you allowed to say that you love yourself, that you appreciate yourself? So it was really intriguing. I'm at this place where I'm ready to stand on the hill and shout, I love God, God loves me. And the thing that I have been arriving at is that I'm multi-talented. I am an artist and an actress. I have a circus. I am a writer, and I am a psychic, and I'm a healer, and I do it all. And I have in the past felt embarrassed, like I'm not supposed to show that light. And recently, what I've arrived at is that it's really all been about co-creation. I've been very, very blessed, and the universe is saying, don't be shy, shine your light. How dare you? I've given this to you, now use it to help the world in whatever way that means, small
Beautiful,
or huge.
Erica.
There you go.
Good.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, and hooray for being all those things. Yes. Shine out. Shine out.
Shine out. Yes. All right. How about I call on Lorraine Cook? You have your hand up, Lorraine. Here's the mic.
Okay, I have to remember to unmute myself, which took a while in the last conversation. I appreciate myself as a calm kind of person who is pretty good at making people feel comfortable, and kind of a peacemaker, I think.
Marvelous.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Lorraine. Thank you.
Beautiful, Lorraine. Yeah, just hearing you say that, this is Peggy Rubin again, it made me feel peaceful, so thank you. Clearly, the transfer of energy, thank you.
Well, Peggy, I was so inspired by your sharing. I get it, and I really appreciate the idea of what we can give back to the earth and to the universe. It's beautiful.
Thank you, Lorraine. Thank you, Peggy. All right, let's turn the mic to Penny Joy. Penny has her hand up. We'd love to hear your self-appreciation. Penny, you're on.
Thank you. Hello, Peggy's both, and Lauren.
Hi, sweetie.
Hello.
Hey.
Yes, it wasn't easy, and feeling pretentious is one of the struggles I have, because I've come through a fairly tough time recently and found a way to open. And how it is that I have opened to ask to be a channel for love and compassion to help solve problems. And it's starting to happen.
Just beautiful. Beautiful.
You're that, Penny. You are that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to call next on Peggy Lelick. I'm not sure if I pronounced her name right, but we're going to hand Becky. Becky. We're going to hand you the mic, Becky.
All right.
And
thank you. And I want to say thank you to Peggy and Lauren. And I'm so grateful that I have a face to put to the voices, because I was at mystery school this last year. And I want to say, because of the work that I've done with Jean, I can say this, is that I'm so ready. I am so on fire to say yes to whatever the universe wants to do through me, and I am good at saying yes. That's how I'm going to appreciate myself, is I am enthusiastic, and I am full of spirit, and I do make people feel comfortable and loved, and I see the wholeness in another human being that allows them to be who they're really called to be. And that's really what I feel like I'm here to do, is see people for who they really are. And I'm so excited to be a part of this circle. And just in the last couple weeks, I have put myself out in a way that really is new. And there's the self-consciousness and fear has dissipated. So I am grateful for those gifts that I am right now. Fabulous. So great, Becky.
Just marvelous. Wow. Well, I'm going to call on Diane Beal in just a moment, and I want to see some more hands up, too. Diane, here is the big mic.
Well, hello. First, I want to say thank you to everybody. This is an awesome experience. I found myself feeling just exhausted, and I recognized that one of the reasons that I was feeling exhausted was because my energy was going to avoiding conflict and playing small so that others did not feel threatened or intimidated or uncomfortable in my presence. And I want to thank you particularly, Peggy, for our sacred theater experience when we talked about engaging conflict, because I now celebrate welcoming and engaging conflict. I am, let's see, what else do I want to say about that? I am enforcing my boundaries. I'm exercising extreme self-care and simply energized by all my new learning adventures and the opportunity to say yes to a larger life. So, thank you.
You are a noble, brave being, and I can feel that. So, thank you for saying yes.
Wonderful,
being someone who does say yes.
I'm still basking in the glow of that weekend experience.
Thank you for that too.
Well, thank you, Diane. And okay, who am I going to call on next? Some of you better put your hands up. That includes you, Yarrow, and Nancy, and Marianne, and Mary Alice. Come on, Mary Alice, don't be shy. I see a lot of you out there that you know you've got wonderful gifts. You've got wonderful strengths. You have so much to offer. And a couple of times now we just heard Diane use that phrase, playing small, and I think Erica talked about, covering our light with a bushel. We cannot afford to do this, and be really alive to life and alive to making our contributions. Hey, okay, I'm going to call on Dick. Hello, let's hand the mic to Dick Dalton.
Hi, Peggy and
hello,
Lauren.
Hello.
Well, I'm appreciating my body today, as I told my little group, because it's very hot here in Missouri, and I have succeeded in partially dismantling a deck, riding my bike to the Peace Vigil, riding back home, and now I'm transplanting plants because the contractor is going to be here early in the morning, and they would kill our hostas and our columbine if I don't get it moved. And my body's performing well. I'm drinking a lot of water, and I appreciate being able to do that at my young age.
Woohoo! Yay,
yes,
Dick!
Yes.
Yay! Busy day.
I apologize for having to multitask a bit here. But it was just the best I could do.
It's your way of life. We're so glad to have you here.
You're feeding the tree of life by
yes, indeed. It's a great day. It's a great day.
Wonderful. Well, I'm going to, in just a few moments, I'm going to turn the mic to Mary Alice and then to Yarrow, who, thank you, you have your hands up. But I realized at the time we did say we'd be done at 7. So what I want to do is turn the mic for a minute to Peggy Dean. She has some final thoughts and things to share with us. And then I'd like to check in again with Peg Rubin. And then I'd like to see if we can have a little extra bonus session where Yarrow, Mary Alice, and others will continue to share their self-appreciations for another 5 minutes, because this is very rich and very alive, as has been said. So, Peggy Dean, do you have some remarks for us at this point? What should we keep in mind? What's next?
That's right. Well, registration is open for this teleconference, which will be a year-long, starting this coming month. And the Foundation and Circles Works invites each one of you to register for this year-long program. It's designed to support you in launching your own face-to-face Peacemaker Circle, and/or for you to feast on the wonderful presentations and interactions each month with the different eminent peacemakers that will be our visiting guests. For only $75, you can hear guest speakers including Joanna Macy and Jean Shinoda Bolin, Star Hawk, Grandmother Agnes, Monica Sharma, and of course our own Jean Houston and Peggy Rubin. Also, if you have in mind to start a circle, or you're wanting to bring this kind of approach into a group that you already have, whether it's a trim tab or a study group, whatever it might be, we also support you in a circle culture of peace. There's a personal mentor for starting your local face-to-face Peacemaker Circle if you want. There's circle forums with the experience of a virtual circle, of course, as we experienced tonight. There's also downloadable PDFs on the Circle Works website. That's Circles, CIRCLES, circleswork.net. And all of this is available to everyone for $75 for 1 year of inspiring peacemakers. And again, to register, visit JeanHoustonFoundation.org. That's JeanHouston Foundation.org. And for additional circle support materials, you can visit circleswork.net. Now, Peggy, it's time for us now to open the circle. So, Lauren, are we inviting in Peggy to guide us in completing today's circle?
Yes, I'd love to hear your closing remarks, Peggy Rubin, and then let's see about that bonus session with self-appreciations. Peggy.
I thank you, and thank you all. Thanks, everybody. It has been wonderful being with you. And I want to go again to Derek Walcott. And one of the lines he has about the time will come when you will greet yourself arriving at your own door. And you will smile at the welcome and say, sit here and eat. You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread, sit, feast on your life. So may the feast be beautiful.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, Wonderful, wonderful. What a great image for us to take away with us. And it is so much about celebration, Peggy, and it is so much about appreciating yourself when you greet yourself at your own door, when you love yourself as the stranger you once were. That's just fantastic. Thank you so very much. What a beautiful, loving celebration you have created for us tonight.
Thank you for letting me be with you. It's been wonderful.
So if people can, let's just stay a few minutes more, and let's turn the big mic to Mary Alice, and let's hear your self-appreciation, Mary Alice.
Hi, Peggy. Great to hear your voice. And I am blessed. Yours. Yeah, I am blessed and to appreciate to hear you. I'm just blessed to appreciate my life, that I was called here to serve by my mere presence. And I appreciate that for me, what I'm called to do is to be who I am, and to do it with humor and with love. And that's where my greatest healing comes from. Though I heal with my hands and I heal with my heart. And to me, I just appreciate it so much because it's so easy and it's so much fun. So here I am. Here I am. All is mine. The world is mine. And I love it. And it's great to hear all of you tonight. It's been wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Welcome, Mary.
See you all soon.
Thank you. Yes, yes. Oh, right. In Ashland. In fact, I neglected to say anything yet about Ashland. My goodness, we're going to be in Ashland at the end of July. We'll be there as soon as July 30th. There are such amazing, wonderful things that are happening in Ashland. As probably you've all read, Peggy Rubin will be offering a 3-day workshop, which I cannot wait to take. I heard recently from Lisa Nelson that Denise and Paul and Jerry are going to give a concert. I will be there doing some circles training, and I'd love to help you connect with the people from your own locale and start a circle process and just teach you more about circle. And there's a lot going on in Ashland. It's going to be a really exciting time, and I think it's when everybody's really taking back. We're going to take social artistry to the streets, folks. So come and we'll prepare together. And please, let me turn the mic now to Yarrow. Yarrow, you had your hand up. Thank you so much. Please let us give the mic to Yarrow. You're on.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Peggy Dean and Peg Rubin and Lauren and everyone for being here. I really appreciate my ability to push my body and continue to build strength, and stick to the practices that are exercising all sides of the brain. I really appreciate my commitment to these things that are challenging for me with my body, with biking up those big hills that you think you can never get to, but then, boy, the view at top makes it all worthwhile, and I appreciate the part of me that knows that hard work and commitment usually lead to good places.
Oh, marvelous. Yeah.
The holy body, that's a wonderful thing. Makes you glorious places.
Open the big mic for everyone. All right, now we're going to open the big mic for our final thanks and goodbyes to everyone. Thank you all for being here. Please check in at the Jean Houston Foundation website, and we'll see you soon. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful.
Oh, wonderful.
Buonanotte.
Thanks.
Celebrate, Alice.
Bye-bye. All right, and see you in Iceland. Yes, bye-bye.